Good afternoon, I'm Laura Skryzypczyk.
And I'm Michelle Stewart.
How much longer will Nick's Saloon sell liquor?
And discipline in public schools is defined by a bill passed by Governor Engler. Up next on News Central.
Serving the Mount Pleasant community and Central Michigan University. With Michelle Stewart, Laura Skryzypczyk, Mark Moses with weather, and Sal Giaco with sports. This is News Central.
The owners of Nick's Saloon have lost a bid to keep their liquor license. The Michigan Liquor Control Commission upheld an earlier decision requiring owners Tim Buckley and Nick Ventimiglia to sell the license or lose it. Charges against the bar stem from 2 incidents over the past year and a half. In one case, the bar was cited for selling alcohol to a minor, and other charges involved selling liquor to intoxicated people. The Liquor Control Commission had ordered Nick's owners to sell by May 1st or lose their license, but the owners appealed the decision. A hearing was held on February 25th, and the owners have just been notified by mail the Commission's decision to uphold the charges. Now the owners have until September 1st to find a new owner. In the meantime, they face a $600 fine and a 10-day suspension of the bar's license. The 10 days are to begin March 27th. If the owners decide to appeal, the case will be heard in circuit court.
Today, Governor Engler signed a bill that states when faculty members may use reasonable force in public schools. The signing of this bill clarifies the 1988 law banning corporal punishment in schools. The bill permits school personnel to use reasonable force in self-defense or in the defense of another, to prevent a pupil from inflicting harm on himself or herself, or to quell a disturbance that threatens physical injury to any person. Reasonable force also is authorized to obtain possession of a weapon or to protect property. The goal of the bill is to allow faculty to maintain a reasonable amount of control and order in the classroom.
And Republican presidential candidate Pat Buchanan is expected on CMU's campus Monday. Buchanan is scheduled to speak at 10 a.m. in the Warner Auditorium. Today we asked CMU students how they feel about the politician's visit.
I think it's an excellent opportunity for students to discuss the political campaign and get some of their questions answered on some of the candidates.
I mean, we see them on the TV and the newspaper. You get a different perspective when you see them live.
It's great to have a little political involvement going on because there's not a whole lot of that, but Buchanan's not my candidate.
I'll go see so I can weigh my decisions because I'm a more liberal Democrat, but I'd like to see what he has to say in case he is elected.
It is a good opportunity, as other people have said, to see where the attitudes are, but I just want to know where he's coming from myself. I don't think that I would vote for him personally because I think he's too far to the right.
Abortion foes are seeking a chance to toughen a bill involving a 24-hour waiting period for women seeking abortions. The Right to Life of Michigan is pushing lawmakers to reinstate a requirement that women view photographs of the fetus at different stages of development before obtaining an abortion. The bill passed the House but was rejected by the Senate in a vote of 25 to 12. The House Senate Committee is attempting to come up with a compromise. Both the House and Senate have passed the informed consent bill, but they both disagree over the photograph requirement. Michigan taxpayers paid nearly $37 million in settlements and judgments in lawsuits against the state. According to the state fiscal agency, the total from last year's budget was up 18% over the year before. A spokesperson for Attorney General Frank Kelly said that inflation may be to blame for the increase. An increased willingness to sue may also have caused some of the increase.
Adults receiving Medicaid in some Michigan counties will be able to get homemaker services instead of going to nursing homes. Social Services Director Gerald Miller said today a waiver approved by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services made the services possible. 800 people will be served during the first year and possibly 2,000 by the year 1994. Services included our home delivery meals, person care, adult daycare, special equipment and supplies, and private duty nursing. Bulimia nervosa. Last year, over 1 million Americans were diagnosed with this disorder. But what is it? Who suffers from this disorder? How can you tell if someone you know is bulimic? In part 2 of our series on eating disorders, we focus on bulimia.
The battle of the bulge has led Americans to diet and exercise just to fit the perfect size. But 60% of excessive dieters have resorted to bulimic acts.
Bulimia can be defined as episodes of binging on foods, eating large quantity of foods, and then purging. And purging means to get rid of, and it can take a lot of different forms. It can come through self-induced vomiting, it can come through the use of laxatives, it can come through chronic exercise as a means of purging, just to sort of relieve the body of excessive calories.
Relieving calories offers anything but relief to a person's body.
That is probably the worst effect on your body. Rather than being actually overweight, the worst thing you can do is the weight gain and loss and weight gain and loss. And also binging and purging.
Some other signs of bulimics are frequent disappearing after eating, often to the bathroom, eating enormous meals but not gaining weight, a growing dependence on laxatives, diuretics, and diet pills for weight loss, increased dental problems due to stomach acid on the teeth, and finally,
bulimia is absolute preoccupation with food and with weight. And that kind of preoccupation leads to a very out-of-control feeling around food.
In our final segment, we'll find out how to get help for eating disorders.
The French Collection, a downtown lingerie store, was robbed earlier this week. When the store opened at noon, an employee found a door had been pushed open and the cash register, as well as a bank bag, were missing for $114. The building had been unattended since 6 p.m. the night before. There are no suspects at this time.
And the Iraqi Prime Minister spoke on his behalf today.
And we'll take a look at yesterday's Super Tuesday primaries when News Central continues.
This is Anna. She has a lot. She has a mother who loves her and a roof over her head. But tar paper walls don't keep out the night chill. She doesn't have enough to eat, sometimes little more than tortillas. She doesn't have the books and supplies she needs to stay in school. And education is her key to a better life. Anna and others like her need someone to help. Could you help? For over 25 years, Children Incorporated has been matching children like Anna with sponsors like you. Your tax-deductible donation of only $21 each month will help provide food, clothes, medical care, and education. You'll receive a picture of the child you're helping and opportunity for personal contact. Please don't wait. Imagine how your help will make Anna or a child like her feel. You can give hope. Write or call Children Incorporated, 1-800-538-5381. That's Children Incorporated, 1-800-538-5381.
And fellow mountain goats, this year's recipient of the treasured Black Horn Award, Richard Lynch. Come on up here, Dick.
What are you doing this weekend that's so important you can't take a little time to test your home for radon? After all, it is the second leading cause of lung cancer, and a radon test kit is inexpensive. You could pick one up on your way to the lodge.
Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton can rightfully claim the title of Democratic frontrunner following his southern sweep of yesterday's Super Tuesday contest. Contender Paul Tsongas scored victories in New England, but analysts say he could be finished if he fails in next week's primaries. Not taking much time to enjoy his victory, Bill Clinton set his sights on next week's primaries in Illinois and Michigan, hoping to extend his lead over Tsongas. Looking at yesterday's primaries, in Democratic race, Clinton has 707 delegates, Tsongas 349, Jerry Brown in third with 81, Tom Harkin, who dropped out of the race, has 63, Bob Kerrey, also a dropout, has 9, and 301 Democratic delegates are still uncommitted. In the Republican contest, President Bush has 560 delegates, Patrick Buchanan trails far behind with only 46, and 6 delegates remain uncommitted. Seemingly fighting a losing battle, Patrick Buchanan is not giving up his protest candidacy against President Bush. Buchanan insists he's won a victory of a different kind and vows to stay put. Authorities are trying to figure out what caused a fatal explosion aboard a research ship off the coast of Washington. The Coast Guard says crew members were putting explosives into the water getting ready for seismic tests this morning when one of the devices blew up on deck, killing 2 people. The research ship reportedly is moving under its own power, and a Navy spokesman says the civilian ship is under contract to the Navy. President Bush said he will veto a tax bill now moving through the Senate. The president and congressional Democratic leaders met in a conference today over the proposed tax breaks of 31 million middle-income Americans. The centerpiece of the Democratic bill is a tax credit for people with children and is financed by the wealthy. But the president says he won't compromise on another tax increase.
Given the way it's worked out now is a mistake. But the thing that is good about that budget agreement is the spending caps. And right now, we are seeing Congress trying to remove the only constraint domestic spending that exists, domestic discretionary spending, and that's the spending cap. So I want to fight to keep those in place. Well, I don't want to raise taxes. I'm going to veto this tax bill.
A key striking point is whether or not the tax break will be financed by levying higher taxes on wealthy Americans.
Iraq's Deputy Prime Minister Tareq Aziz appeared before the United Nations Security Council today. Within the last hour, Aziz has been responding to charges that go back to the Gulf War. The Iraqi Prime Minister must answer questions that make him guilty of avoiding U.S. demands on disarmament. Aziz says Iraq is doing its best to respond to meet all of the ceasefire demands, and his country is no longer in possession of any weapons. For now, Aziz hopes to clear up any misunderstandings that the UN may have. Until then, Aziz has to listen to David Haney, the British Prime Minister. Haney says the responsibility is using force to make Iraq comply with the Gulf War resolution.
A year ago, Iraq was expelled from Kuwait by force of arms under the authority of the United Nations. The use of force was required because Iraq miscalculated and believed that this council was bluffing. There was an opportunity then for Iraq to comply, which she failed to take. There is an opportunity again now for Iraq to comply. I hope she will not again miscalculate.
Unfortunate pattern has developed. Iraq makes declarations of minimal content, declarations which are clearly meant to misinform, misdirect, and to conceal. Iraq repeatedly divulges information related to its weapons programs only after being presented incontrovertible proof uncovered by the Special Commission and the IAEA in their inspections. This is not compliance, but hide and seek, cat and mouse, cheat and retreat.
Secretary of State James Baker and Russian Foreign Minister Andrei Kozyrev met in Brussels, Belgium today. Baker and Kozyrev plan on discussing a nuclear weapons strategy. A Russian meeting was scheduled for June in Washington, yet the two chose to discuss the plans early. The Russian Foreign Minister says he may ban some of the world's most dangerous missiles as part of the nuclear arms agreement. Up next, Mark Moses has the weather.
The snow has piled up for the past couple of days, and it may not be over yet. I'll have details of the forecast coming up next.
be strong. To win, you've got to be smart. Maybe you can be one of us. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Of all the weapons used in the world in the last 40 years, none had more power than this one.
Now here's a few reasons why you should watch All Kidding Aside. All Kidding Aside, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 p.m. on Moore Hall, Channel 34.
Under partly cloudy skies, the temperature stands at 20 degrees. The barometer is 29.84 and falling. The humidity is 41%. The dew point is only at 2 degrees. The wind is out of the northwest at 12, and the sun sets today at 6:41. Take a look at current conditions around the nation. We can see, there we go. We can see that out in the west, it's mostly clear out in that area, and it's very nice. But if you look over in the east coast, it's a whole different story. Around in this area, this is that system that moved out from our area, and this is pushed off into the east coast now. They've been getting a lot of severe rain and snow. Snow more up in the higher elevations, up into New York and down all the way to Washington, D.C., while down in the south in Georgia and Atlanta and South Carolina, they've had a lot of significant rainfall out of this system. This has produced a lot of flooding up in the Vermont area because they've had the snow and then the rains fall on it, and then we've gotten more snow out of that and rain, and it's flooded, made it a real mess. This system, though, will be pushing out later on, though, and we'll be bringing, this system that we've got over here mostly clear. But the system we want to watch for is this one coming through. It's not too bad. It's like an Alberta Clipper, but it's not really too bad. It'll be moving into our area for maybe later on in the weekend, and it'll be bringing us a chance of snow later on for that time. So we're really not out of the bad weather yet, but maybe there is a chance of a warm-up coming on later on during the rest of the next week. But looking around the state, we can see that it is cloudy over most of the area, while down in Kalamazoo and over in Berrien and Cass and Van Buren counties, they've had a lot of reports of heavy snow due to the northwest winds coming over onto the lake, making the lake effect snows. That is also causing cloudy skies over Traverse City, where it is 17 degrees. But the warm spot does stay down in Kalamazoo, where it's 27, and the cold spot is Marquette up at 12. Well, we can take a look at conditions, and we can take a look at the forecast for tonight. We can see that it will be clear and cold with a low of only around 5 degrees. The wind will be coming out of the northwest at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Well, tomorrow it will continue to be mostly sunny, though, high 26, and not as cold, with a low probably of around 15. Looking ahead into Friday, snow showers, high 25 and a low of 6 again, while Saturday a chance of snow, a high 27, low of 15. But we're not out of the works yet. The weekend will bring us some snow, and I think it'll be warming up later on during the week. So
more sun, but not.
Well, more sun. Yeah, warm weather will hang off until later on next week. But other than that, we're going to have snow. So
we'll make sure of that. Okay, Sal's up next with sports.
U.S. Olympic star Ray LeBlanc made his debut in the NHL and had the fans in Chicago on their feet. Details ahead in sports.
There is a mighty spirit shining out.
In Salisbury, Maryland, the hungry are being fed. In Wind Falls, Indiana, a man who learned to read at 47 is making sure others learn earlier. In Hope, New Mexico, people turned an abandoned school into a thriving community center. In Boston, Massachusetts, neighbors set up a crime hotline that's making their streets safer. From Seattle to Galveston, from Buffalo to Fargo, every day, someone in America is doing something to light up another life. But there is so much more to do. The light to do it is within us all. We only need to share it. Contact the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Honey, it's Mom. Please let me in. I'm worried.
Learn to see the signs of mental illness. 2 out of 3 people who get help get better. For a free booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
We made it.
Hey, I couldn't have gotten through physics without you.
Yeah, well, you're on your own at college.
It's not fair.
That's all right. I'm gonna get a job, you know, I'm gonna start working, I'm gonna save, and I'll be in college in another year or 2.
Thanks.
So, what do you have planned, Mike? I think I'm gonna go home and make a sandwich. Okay.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
A big win for the Lady Chips last night as they knock off a tough team from Miami, 69-59 in the first round of the MAC tournament. Forward Carla Sturck had a great game with 22 points, and Nikki Tompkins added 18 points and 16 boards. The victory sends the Chips to their 9th MAC Final Four appearance against number 1 seeded Toledo. Meanwhile, the men open up their postseason play tomorrow against Ball State. The game should be a tough one for the Chips. They've dropped their last 11 straight to the Cardinals. In the NBA, the Palace is usually home sweet home for the Pistons, but the road has lately been a tasty place to be if you're Detroit. They've won 3 straight in their opponents' backyards, including last night's 98-92 victory in Seattle. Pistons were a little sloppy early. Dumars turns it over, and Seattle takes advantage of it, ahead to Gary Payton with a spin move in the lay-in. Sonics up 4, but Dumars would redeem himself. The patented pull-up jumper, boom! He had 21, and the Pistons right back in it. They rally. They looked sharp all night. Check out the pass from Rodman, the no-look backdoor to Sally for the baseline stuff, and the Pistons just too tough for the Sonics. On the NBA scoreboard, Sedell Threet had a career-high 42 points as the Lakers beat the Knicks. The Cavs dumped the Suns by 2. Sarunas Marciulionis scored 27 as the Warriors to help beat past the Nets. The LA Lakers upended the Kings by 11. The Spurs got 22 from Terry Cummins and 19 from Rod Strickland as they got past the Hawks. The Rockets blew out the Mavs. Portland got 26 from Clyde Drexler as the Trailblazers won their 5th in a row over the Bucks. Denver slipped past the Magic in a low-scoring affair. U of M grad Glenn Wright scored 31 as the Heat got past the Celtics. The Pacers got past the Bullets by 10, and the Hornets won their 9th straight home game behind Kendall Gill's 28 and Larry Johnson's 24. In the NHL, the Detroit Red Wings, looking to toughen up their squad come playoff time, traded right winger Johan Garpenlov to San Jose. In return, they get 29-year-old Bob McGill, a rugged defenseman who should add some punch to the Detroit lineup. Meanwhile, last night, the Chicago Blackhawks unveiled their latest weapon in their quest to catch the Red Wings. Believe it or not, Olympic goaltender Ray LeBlanc had his first NHL appearance in goal for the Hawks. What a difference a few weeks can make. LeBlanc in Albertville and LeBlanc in Chicago Stadium. Skeptics were critical, but Ray proved them wrong. His first NHL save, not bad, but things got tougher, so did Ray. The save, and then the save again. 13 stops in the first period alone. You gotta like this guy, and believe me, the Chicago fans just loved him. More Ray, you say? Watch him on this as he turns away the slap shot and then hustles to cover it up. He provided the D, and Chris Chelios provided the O. He scores, and the Hawks went on to win 5-1. He used to play 2 professional sports, but now superstar Bo Jackson may not be able to play a professional sport again. Yesterday, Jackson announced his decision to have hip replacement surgery this summer. That means no baseball for Bo, at least not for this year. He remains optimistic, though, for a return to the game he loves. The doctors say the chances of a comeback are slim and none. His decision to have the surgery was perhaps inevitable, Jackson just wants to be the old Bo we used to know.
Will be a hip replacement. Simply because, just like I said earlier, the pain, the limp, I've lost all of the space there, and it doesn't seem like that it's getting better. It's a load off of me because when I get up in the morning and go to the ballpark, I'm not Bo Jackson. I don't feel like the old Bo Jackson.
A couple more baseball notes. Tigers lost today against the Twins 3-1, and Kirk Gibson, old Tiger, wanted some playing time in KC, but they couldn't give him that, so he was traded to the Bucks.
Oh, it's too bad about Bo Jackson. There's got to be a lot of fans out there.
Yeah, but knowing Bo, you know, his determination, you never know. It's a serious surgery, but there's always that chance he can come back.
So you think, despite what the doctors say, he just might be back?
Yeah, you know, consequently, there was one professional baseball player who had hip replacement surgery, but he never made it back, Brett Burns.
Well, I guess we can only wait and see and hope that Bo will get back in the spotlight somehow.
Let's hope so.
Okay. Well, thanks, Sal. Laura?
And a freshman at Kalamazoo College is a candidate for president. Andrew Kogan of Chicago says comedy is the answer to the nation's problems, and he's conducting a write-in campaign. Kogan organized a Seafood on the Wall party, or SAL for short, while studying English at school. The platform consists of putting a yo-yo in every home, ban men wearing polyester pants from holding offices, and pay off the national debt through a rummage sale. How about that one?
I know some people who just might go for that kind of platform, actually.
Here we go, Doogie Howser again. Alexander Kogan.
Yeah, maybe one of our CMU students will want to have his own platform even.
Okay, good night from all of us here at News Central.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But say it, because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
Driving just 5 miles per hour slower than we usually do will save over 2 million gallons of gas a day and help keep America out of the red. Do your part. Drive smart.